Welcome to Spotlight, shining a light on the ideas, culture, and people of the Spartan community.
Hello, and welcome to Spotlight. My name is Tessa Kelly, and I'll be your host for this program. Today, we have two very special Spartans with us to hear from. I will be interviewing Zoe Kernahan, a graduate student in the Department of Media and Information, and Hannah Quist, an undergrad student in the School of Packaging. We're so happy to have you in the studio today, ladies. Let's get to know our guest for today, shall we? Zoe, can you start us off by telling us where you're from and how you ended up at MSU?
Yeah, so I'm from Royal Oak, Michigan. I've grown up in Michigan my whole life, and I wish I had some big elaborate story of how I came to MSU, but honestly it just kind of happened. Every time I came to campus, I loved it, and they had a really great program for what I wanted to study, so here I am.
And Hannah, what about you?
I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and growing up in Ann Arbor, everything is University of Michigan, so I was kind of sick of the maize and blue and just wanted to get out. Also, my mom is from East Lansing, and my grandpa was a professor here at MSU, so I'm familiar with the area, came up here a lot, and as soon as I took an official tour of the school, I knew that that's where I wanted to be. So that's how I ended up here.
You made the right choice. So Zoe, when and why did you become interested in the world of media?
Yeah, I've kind of always been interested in media. Throughout my childhood, I was pretty creative, and then throughout high school, I got involved with our film classes and broadcasting and that kind of stuff, and I just really fell in love with it, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the media space in some shape or form for a career.
Yeah. And Hannah, when did you start showing an interest in packaging? Who sparked it?
I really as a kid, I loved makeup and cosmetics, and I really liked going to Sephora or Ulta or Macy's and looking at all the different makeup products, perfume products, and just being drawn to the products, the packages that were unique and didn't look like the other ones. So that's what really drew me into packaging. I also am a creative person and a logical person, but I didn't think that I could be an engineer. So packaging seemed like the perfect little medium for me.
How wonderful. Now, I'd like to hear a little bit more about both of your majors. Zoe, explain what goes into earning a bachelor's degree in media and information.
Yeah, so media and information can be a pretty broad topic when you choose to major in it. When I first started, there were about 5 different concentrations, so you could concentrate on TV and film production or game design. I chose to concentrate on media and information management, so it was a lot more of the logic and planning, and so depending on the concentration, different things can go into it, but it's a lot of hands-on work, and our professors are really great, and it made it a really great experience for me.
Nice. Now, Hannah, tell us about the School of Packaging.
Yeah, so in the School of Packaging, there's 2 concentrations you can do. One is a packaging science route, which is material science and more just the sciencey side, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then there's a supply chain and marketing route, which goes more into the marketing and not so much the science. Packaging definitely is a lot of work. We had to take physics and calculus as well as all of our different packaging classes. Some classes I really enjoyed, we get to work with package testing machines. We go into the lab and use a lot of cool equipment to test how packages withstand different environments, so that's been really cool as well.
And Zoe, can you think of a course that you've taken that you feel like you've really learned from or just had a lot of fun in?
Yeah, one class that I had a lot of fun in, it was MI 401, it was Media and Information Society. I had a lot of fun in that class, not only because the professor, he was really upbeat and he made it super interesting, but the topics themselves I really, really loved.
Awesome. Hannah, are there any professors that come to mind that were an inspiration to you?
Yeah, I had a food packaging professor. Her name is Dr. Eva Almanar. She's really well respected in her field and leads a lot of groundbreaking research about food packaging and the extension of shelf life for different foods to eliminate waste, which I found to be very interesting because they also have a minor in environmental sustainability studies. So any way that we can, as packaging professionals, eliminate unnecessary waste, I think is really, really valuable. So also her just being a female professor in the field and being so accomplished, she's been a real inspiration to me.
Awesome. All right, folks, we're about to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we will be back soon.
What makes a Spartan a Spartan? The relentless drive to turn question marks into exclamation points. Believing that we are strong as one, but extraordinary together. And it's our impact that matters most. What makes a Spartan is what's inside, the commitment to something bigger. Because the world never stops asking, who will? Spartans will.
Hi, and welcome back to Spotlight. I'm your host, Tessa Kelly. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into the lives of our wonderful guests, of Zoe Kernahan and Hannah Quist. All right, ladies, let's get back into it. Hannah, I understand that you are currently a guest advocate at the downtown East Lansing Target. How has that been?
Working at Target has been great. I'm a guest advocate, which means I'm the one stocking the shelves, unloading the truck, breaking down the pallet, and just like replenishing things on the shelf. It's been great. I really like all of my coworkers. It's interesting to see people you know come in all the time, and I really like working in like a retail space and just talking to people and helping them. So yeah, it's been really great. I like working there.
And Zoe, you are currently a graduate teaching assistant. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's really fun too, because it's like I get to go back to classes I've taken in the past and help students learn and help them through their course. So it's a lot of fun being able to revisit topics that I personally learned a lot from.
Now, before graduating with your bachelor's, you were a campus tour guide for a while. How was that?
I loved being a tour guide. It was probably my favorite job to date. I can talk about MSU for hours and hours. So I had a lot of fun taking prospective students around campus, showing them my favorite spots and telling them all about what it's like to be a Spartan.
Yeah. Hannah, you worked in a retail associate back in your hometown of Ann Arbor for a bit. Did you enjoy that position?
I did. That at Bivouac, it's a small business in Ann Arbor that's been there for about 50 years. They sell a lot of like camping and outdoor supplies, and that's a job that I had over COVID, so the summer of 2020. And yeah, I really loved working there. It's such a great store. They sell a lot of cool brands, and I really like working for like a small business. It was definitely a little weird working during COVID because everyone was new to the mask and just new to the whole COVID thing. But yeah, I definitely really liked working at Bivouac as well. I learned a lot from them.
Speaking of COVID, Zoe, how did the handle of the onset of the pandemic and the transition not only to online learning but to online socialization affect you?
It was definitely an adjustment, obviously. I don't know, after a few years you kind of just got used to it. I definitely think I was a little bit gypped of some experiences, some traditional college experiences, but I still had a great time and, tried to make the most of it.
Yeah. And you, Hannah?
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like I missed out on a little bit of like a normal college experience, but it wasn't all bad. I still got to live with a lot of my best friends, so we made the most of it. Yeah, it wasn't all bad.
So, Zoe, do you feel the pandemic worsened or even ruined your college experience?
I definitely don't think it ruined it, but I don't think it was super positive looking back on it, just because we had a lot to go through, and I know a lot of students are experiencing burnout a lot quicker now that we're all online, kind of staying in our homes. So it was definitely hard, but I don't think it ruined anything.
All right, enough talk about that drab thing. Right after this commercial break, we'll find out what lies ahead for these bright ladies. Back. I'm here with the one and only Zoe Kernahan and the always radiant Hannah Quist. Now, ladies, let's look into the past and the future. Were you happy as a child? Was there pressure from your parents to do well? Hannah, start us off.
Yeah, I had a pretty happy childhood. I grew up in a neighborhood that had a lot of kids in it. We would always ride our bikes around the neighborhood. There was a pool that we would go down and swim to. I lived really close to my grandparents, so I got to spend a lot of time with them as well. I have an older sister who's 8 years older than me, so the expectations for her and myself were a lot different. My parents didn't put a lot of pressure on me. They were pretty hands-off and very supportive of whatever I did, so I definitely felt pressure to do well just from myself, but no one ever gave me too high of expectations to be put under pressure.
Yeah, and what about you, Zoe? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, kind of similar to Hannah. Like, I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself. I didn't grow up super close to family. My parents got divorced at a young age, but they never put an insane amount of pressure on me. It mainly came from myself, so yeah.
Have your interests evolved over the course of your life, or have you always been interested in the same thing? Hannah?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm still creative now. As a child, I was very creative, very loud, always doing art projects and dancing and singing, which is pretty similar to how I am now. Yeah, I think I'm the same, but just a little older now.
And you, Zoe?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think my interests have pretty much stayed the same. I feel like with the downtime I do get now, I kind of like going back to, what I used to like and what I used to do, because I do still enjoy like similar things now.
If you could give your 10-year-old self a piece of advice, Hannah, what would you tell her?
Oh, I think that I would tell my 10-year-old self that being popular in the 5th grade doesn't mean anything, and that you should just have a good time and be a kid and not be a mean girl.
Yeah. What would you tell your 10-year-old self, Zoe?
I just tell myself to relax a little. I've always been very high-strung and a nervous person, so I just tell myself to relax and not rush anything.
Hannah, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years, I definitely don't see myself in Michigan. I hate the cold and the snow, so this past week has not been my favorite. I'm hoping to move to Texas soon because my sister lives there, and working in some cosmetic field of packaging, so that's where I see myself.
Yeah. Zoe, where do you think you'll be in 5 to 10 years?
It kind of depends. I do see myself settling back down in Michigan eventually to be back with family, be close to family, but up until then, I don't know where I'll be. I don't have any concrete plans yet.
Here's some information.
What will you miss most about being a Michigan State student or a college student in general, Hannah?
I think just the last time to be like a stupid kid with limited like expectations or consequences or things to worry about. Being close to all of my friends and living with some of my best friends, I feel like that's a really special experience that you get to have in college. Yeah, and just being in East Lansing is great. Being able to walk downtown and walk to all my friends' houses, it's been really nice.
Zoe?
Yeah, I think specifically about MSU, I'm gonna miss all the resources available to us as students. There's a lot of great help and mentors and advisors available to us, so I think I'm gonna miss that a lot.
And what about lessons learned? What wisdom have you gained from your time at Michigan State that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life? Hannah?
Oh, I don't know. I would say just to slow down, and things go by really fast. Like these 4 years have gone by in a flash. So I would say just slow down and take everything in and enjoy everything while you can, because not everything lasts forever, and then you'll be off on your new adventure.
All right, we'll be right back with Zoe and Hannah after this commercial break.
When do we give up? When do we just close our eyes and say, that's it? This water's too polluted. This disease too far along. To a Spartan, the answer is simple. Never. Because Michigan State was founded on the belief that our purpose is to make the world a better place. And when you're open to unconventional thinking, you value people's differences and are willing to work harder, push farther, and forge true partnerships. Then and only then can you solve the world's toughest problems. Better, faster. Like renewable energy, clean water, Parkinson's disease, and fighting malaria. Things Spartans work on every single day, all without fanfare. Because we know our true triumph lies in the impact we make on the world around us. And after all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
And we are back. I'm here with Zoe, a Leo, and Hannah, a Scorpio. Ladies, I'd like to know what your immediate post-grad plans are. What do you have lined up for yourself? Zoe, you first.
So I'll graduate in December with my master's degree, and after that, I'll be working full-time at a media agency in North Carolina.
Very cool. And Hannah, what is to come for you?
I graduate in May, May 7th, and I just got a full-time job as a packaging development and sourcing coordinator with a skincare company called Erno Laszlo. That's a remote position, so I'll be living at home in Ann Arbor for a little bit, and then hopefully be moving to Austin, Texas.
Very cool. What are both of your feelings about leaving MSU for good? Walk me through your emotions, Zoe.
I'm really sad. This place has become like my second home, so I'm really sad to be leaving, but I'm excited for what lies ahead.
Hannah, how are you feeling about it?
I was definitely a little bit more anxious to leave before I had a job and before I had a plan of what's next. But I think I've had a great time here, but I'm excited and ready to move on to my next chapter. So it will definitely be missed, but I'm ready to go.
Hannah, is there anything you regret not doing or any opportunities you wish you took while you were here at MSU?
When I was a freshman, I really wanted to be Sparty in the costume, but I wasn't tall enough or strong enough to do it. So that's one regret I really had. I wish I was just a little bit taller so I could have been Sparty.
Not much you can do about that. Zoe, what about you?
I don't really have any specific regrets considering all the obstacles I've gone through over the past 4 years. I think I made the most of what I had.
Yeah. Tell us about what did you hope to achieve when you came to MSU, Hannah?
I think I just hope to achieve like the classic college experience, making a lot of new friends, which I did, doing well in school, which I did. I had the same major from the time I was a freshman until now, which I think is pretty lucky because a lot of people don't know what they want to do or switch a lot of times. So finding something I love doing, meeting people that I love to be around, yeah.
So Zoe, did you set any goals for yourself, and would you say you've reached them?
I definitely set some like pretty broad goals for myself, and I do think I reached them in terms of getting through college and maintaining good grades, but yeah, there weren't super specific goals that I set for myself.
Well, folks, that's all we have time for in today's program. Let's give a big thanks to our lovely guests and hear their parting words. Zoe Kernahan, thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time. Go Green.
And Hannah Quist, it was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Tessa. It was a pleasure to be here.
This has been Tessa Kelly on Spotlight. Thank you for watching and being with us here today. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. Spotlight is a production of MSU Media and Information and was produced and directed entirely by Michigan State University students. Join us next time for more Spotlight.